Hey guys, it's Dan, your host here, Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. And in today's video, we're going to be doing our official Season 1 predictions video for what we think is going to happen in the first season of Daryl Dixon. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. And in today's video, we're going to be doing our official predictions video for the first season of Daryl Dixon. We are going to go through this one. We're going to go through, of course, all of the information that we have for this series so far. Obviously, we had the Comic-Con trailer about, roughly a week ago now. So I want to kind of let that one simmer a little bit. And we did have the opening 10 minutes of the series, which is available on AMC Plus if you want to check that out. You can actually stream the first 10 minutes of the show right now. And there's been a whole bunch of photos, whole bunch of new teasers, whole bunch of everything, really. So now that we've had a good amount of footage, now that we have a good enough idea of what this show is going to be like, I figured it's a good time to do a predictions for what we think just in general is going to happen in this first season. Plot-wise, episode-wise, character-wise, all that stuff, twists and turns, how I think it's going to work out, how do I think it's going to go, and all that kind of stuff. So we got a lot of information for this show. Obviously, there's been a lot that's come out, and I think the biggest thing about this show that we can say right off the bat is that this is going to be a major plot progressor for the Walking Dead universe. And the reason why I say that is because we are in France, right? We are in France, which is, of course, where we first learned about the variants, right? So, with the variants first being introduced to us in the post-credit of The Walking Dead World Beyond, obviously in this series, we're definitely going to get some information on that at some point. Whether or not it's in this first season or whether or not it's in one of the other seasons that's, yet to come, this show will be very important for what is coming in the Walking Dead universe, right? And there's a reason why they're doing this show in the way they are. There's a reason why Daryl is going to France. There's a reason why they're doing all this. There's a reason why this show exists, you know what I mean? So for people that, go running around saying like, oh my god, this show is pointless. No, it's not pointless. Do I think that some of the stuff looks a bit weird? Yeah, I definitely do. But, you know what I mean? Like, it's very much, it's going to have a point to it. It definitely will be. There definitely is going to be a reason why we're here and why we're in France. You know what I mean? So, in terms of the plot, right? This is what we know going into the show, and this is what I can predict for season 1 of Daryl, right? So, we get started with the opening 10 minutes. He's on the boat. He ventures out. He, of course, fights those walkers. He gets the burn on his arm. Now, where are we going to go after that, right? This is what I think they're going to do. After that, we're going to have a couple more minutes of him being out there. He's probably going to notice how bad his wound is. He's going to end up, I think, at least in my opinion, probably passing out, probably of just, exhaustion and stuff, traveling for a little while. And I think that's when we're going to have Daryl that wakes up and he's going to be in the location where the nuns are taking care of him, right? So I think he's going to pass out, he's going to wake up, and he's going to be surrounded by nuns. He's not going to have any idea how he got there either. And then they are going to treat his wound, I think. I think that's the moment where you see Daryl getting, like, quote-unquote hurt in the trailer. I think it's because they're helping him out, Now, after that, of course, I think they're going to let Daryl explore. We're going to see a little bit of this community where these nuns come from, you know what I mean? We're going to let Daryl kind of, take it easy for a little bit. And I think after that, Isabel, who is one of our main characters, the main nun from this group, she is going to inform Daryl that she has a mission for him, right? And then this will set up the plot of the show, where basically he has to get Lauren across the country for God knows what, you know what I mean? We don't know what the thing is. I know a lot of people are saying that it's a immunity storyline, which I think that's exactly what they're going to do. And, they're going to, set this up to where Daryl has to take this kid across the country to a certain location, maybe, and, that's the general idea, right? So, I think that Daryl is not really going to be wanting to do this at first. It's going to be very, like, Last of Us-esque. Daryl's going to be like, nah, I ain't doing this. I got to get back home, you know what I mean? And maybe, like, she says, like, we'll help you get back home after you complete this mission, or something like that, And I think that then we're going to learn, and this will be probably about midway through the episode, that the group of, soldiers that are dressed in black, they're gonna hear Daryl's message, right? They're gonna hear his message from previous or from earlier on in the episode. They're gonna hear the recording of Daryl when he was talking about who he was and how he comes from America, and we're gonna find out that they're already dealing with this group of nuns. They're already dealing with this community. They live, kind of like beneath them or whatever. And when they find out that the American is within their walls, they're gonna go after Daryl, right? So I think that then, of course, that one dude is going to come in. He's going to, of course, make them all bend the knee to him. And he's going to ask, where the hell is the American? Like, where's Daryl, right? And he is, of course, going to be really angry. I feel like we're probably going to get one of those scenes where it's like, we're going to see what kind of a villain he really is. He's probably going to execute some of them, to be honest, on the spot, just so, he finds out where Daryl is. I could see an intense scene where it's like, he shoots one, he's like, okay, tell me again, where's the American? I know he's here. They still don't answer. He shoots another one, he's like, okay, tell me where the American is, or I keep going down the line, you know what I mean? I feel like it's going to be one of those type of scenes. And then Daryl's going to surprise him. I feel like Daryl's going to come in out of nowhere with a whole bunch of the group that helps him out, and I think that Daryl is going to, fight these guys one-on-one, right? So the group is going to help each other out. Daryl's going to come in. We're going to have a major battle sequence, I think, in this first episode. We do see a sequence where Daryl is fighting this guy in the trailer. Now, here's what I think they're going to do, and this might shock a few people in this predictions video. I feel like a lot of people are going to be probably not expecting this one, but this is what I think they're going to do. That guy that comes in here, I don't think is going to last that long at all. I don't. I think a lot of people are expecting him to last, the whole season, and he's like going to go after Daryl and stuff. I don't think so at all. I really don't. I think he's going to be our main, like, one episode villain type casualty. I do. I think Daryl's going to kill him in the pilot. I think he's going to kill him and his boys, whoever comes in there. And I think that he will have a brutal death by the hands of Daryl. I do. I think so. I just don't see it. I don't see the guy surviving. I really don't. And I also don't see any clips in the trailer of him where he's not, interacting with the nuns and Daryl and all that. The only other time I see him in the trailer is when he's talking to his boss and he's saying, like, I will complete this mission. So, no, I don't think he's going to survive that first episode. I don't. I think that lead guy will end up dying in the first episode. And then the nuns' compound, like where they come from, unfortunately, I think throughout the battle, it will get destroyed. I do think in the first episode that place will get destroyed. And then I think, honestly, we're not going to have anybody left. I think that place is honestly going to have, like, major casualties. I feel like the whole place is going to be wiped out. The only ones that I think are going to get out of there alive by the time the episode ends is going to be Daryl, Isabel, the main nun, Lawrence, right? He will be with them for sure. And maybe like one or two others at the most. But I think aside from that, the compound's going to be wrapped up. That location will be wrapped up. I think that main villain guy is going to get killed by either Daryl or maybe Laurent comes in and saves him. You know what I mean? And that could be like the beginning of their bond, right? That could be it. And then they flee from the location. They go on the road, and then end of episode, right? Then they'll show a this season promo where you see them on the road, traveling, etc., right? So that's exactly what I think they're going to do. Now, here's what I think is going to happen for episode 2. Now, this is when it gets a bit more tricky because we don't have as much information, but this is a general idea of what I think they're going to do. The opening scene of episode 2, I think, is going to be the scene that we've seen in the trailer where you see the fall of France. I do. I think we're going to see that in episode 2. As a matter of fact, I think episode 2 is going to be a major Isabel episode. The nun that we see in the trailers. I think we're going to experience what she went through when the world fell apart. I do. I think that's exactly where we're going to get. We're going to see that. We're going to see how everything went to hell in France. And I think throughout that episode, we're going to get flashback scenes. I think we're going to get a scene where we're going to see her, of course. We know based off the other teaser that I think it's like her sister or something that like gives birth to a kid, which I could see maybe a scenario where that's Lawrence or something, or at least somebody like that. And we see like, Lawrence's birth scene in a flashback. I think we could definitely see something like that. And I think that's how that episode will go. We'll see some stuff with Daryl and them on the road, probably a lot of zombie action, stuff like that, but I think a lot of that will be focused on Isabel and the fall of, humanity, and the fall of, France and stuff like that. I think that's a lot of what that episode will be about. Now, I think that in that episode, we'll also find out that the people that sent the bad guys after them in the first episode, they're going to find out that they died. And by the second episode, they're going to start trying to track down Daryl on the road. I think so. And I think they're going to start coming after Daryl by the time we get into episode 3, episode 4. They're going to try to start catching up to them, I think. Now, episode 3, and again, this one I'm just venturing a guess. Episode 3, I think, is going to be that nightclub episode where you see them. They're at like this nightclub. They'll probably meet a new group of survivors in this episode, is what I'm assuming. That like take them in or something. I think we're going to see like a lot of really different environments. We're going to see Daryl fighting that one guy, which leads me to my prediction. I think that these guys will quote unquote take Daryl in and take all of them in, but then I think throughout the episode it's going to be like one of those twists where you find out they're evil, you know what I mean? And then Daryl has to like fight them and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And then that nightclub place will fall within like that episode or something. I think it's going to be one of those type episodes, And then as for episodes like 4, 5, 6, this is when it gets difficult because we don't know as much about the later episodes, but this is what I could say about them as of right now. There'll be more traveling. I think there's going to be a lot more scenes where those guys come after Daryl for Daryl killing that man in the first episode. That's what I think, at least. And then in the further episodes, we'll see more action with that group. I think that one female that's in charge, she'll end up having a confrontation with Daryl here later on this season with some of her men and, some of that stuff. And you know what I think we're going to find out? And I think this is going to be the major twist of the whole thing, is I think that group overall is the group that they're trying to get Laurent to. I think that's the group that they're trying to get Laurent to, that Daryl is trying to deliver them to. I think it's going to be like a twist where it's like, oh my god, the group that's been coming after them the whole time is the group that Laurent was supposed to go with, you know what I mean? And to be honest, based off of that girl's outfit, and you guys might call me crazy for this, I know this might sound a bit out there, but we are in France. I do expect some connections at some point. Hear me out on this one. I think this could be a connection to CRM. I do. I think there could be a connection to CRM here somehow. And I think that by the end of the season, Laurent will be taken away from Daryl. I think that'll be the cliffhanger of the season. Laurent will be taken away from Daryl. The two of them will have formed a bond by that point. And I think that at that point, Daryl's going to want Laurent back, which is going to set up for a season 2. That's exactly what I think they're going to do. Now, the final prediction I can make for this season, the final thing that I think they're going to do, is I do think they're going to tease Carol in season 2. I think they're going to give us a minor Carol scene at the end of this season. I do. I think it's going to be very minor. I don't think we're going to see a lot of her, but I do think we're going to see a little bit of her, maybe a reunion with Daryl at the very, very end of season 1, and then that'll set up hype for season 2, like getting Laurent back, getting to know Carol again in this show, you know what I mean? Seeing how they handle all this, and that's how they'll set up for a season 2, I think. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like it could be good, you know what I mean? If it goes along the lines of that, I mean, I don't think that's all that bad of a plot at all. That actually sounds really interesting. So, hopefully it's along the lines of something like that. We'll have to see how they do it, though. We'll have to see how they execute this, but it's definitely going to be interesting once the season comes out. So, we got like 6 weeks, I think less than 6 weeks now, and then that season is going to start releasing. So, a lot of fun. Figured I would do this predictions video. Let me know where you guys stand on your predictions for this series. Where do you think the plot's going to go? Overall plot points you think they're going to do? If you want to add any predictions to something, something I mentioned as well too, additional things as well, like maybe some plots that you could think of for like an episode 4 or 5, episodes that are a bit more difficult to pinpoint. Yeah, gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, guys, and you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button to not miss any other videos of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. Make sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead reviews on Instagram, guys, and of course, I'll see you guys very soon for more videos for Daryl Dixon. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.